back to my new video. Today I wanted to show you what tools that I need in my everyday indoor gardening passion. Those are the ones that I really do use. I have bought some stuff in the past that did not help or I've never used. I'm not going to include them now, but those are my tools that I use. Some on everyday basics and some just regularly, and I'll explain better. First one is watering can, I guess, when you start with indoor gardening. I have a few because I have a watering can in each room of my apartment. Well, each room that has plants. So I have two in my living room. I have that huge one from IKEA, which is really nice because I have huge pots in the living room, like my Pochera aquatica, my Monstera, my Spathiphyllum, my Peace Lily, some of my Ficus elastica. So I put water to the top, for example, my Pochera, and I go back and forth. So to be honest, what I really do need is a hose now, that a hose, not sure, that I can clip into my sink, but I still haven't invested in this, so I do the back and forth with this. The second one I have in the living room is this one, really pretty first, but also really handy because the tip is really narrow and you can go really precisely into tiny plants. So this is actually really nice. I thought it was going to be a decor and I actually use it pretty often. The container is not really huge, but yeah, for the precise work, really nice. I have another one in the kitchen. I got it on Amazon. It's called Elo. ELHO, not sure. The containing is pretty big. I use it for my kitchen plants and also my balcony. I'll go back and forth, but yeah, I like to have it in the kitchen, so if I only do the kitchen plants, I don't have to go back to the living room to grab the big one that might be pretty heavy because I put water at night, like I explained in my video, how and when to water your plants. Last one is just a decor one. It's in my bedroom. It's really not handy. The container is pretty okay size-wise, but this is really thin and it takes like forever to put the water out. So presenting you this, but you know. What I'm trying to say is that if you have a lot of plants in few rooms, it's nice to have a watering can over there. First, you're going to think about watering your plants if you tend to forget about this, and also you're going to think about refilling them even when you're not watering, because that's what you should do, like I've explained in that other video. Second tool I use a lot is a spray, a mist spray. This one is big because the spray is really large, so it takes less time to do a lot of plants. I put water, same as watering can, at night, and it helps humidifying the plants, helping a stem that's growing and unfurling, watering it kind of help. And yeah, I have a few of them. I had, for example, this one, which was a fertilizing spray, and I was done with it, so I refilled it with water, putting a tag saying that it's water for plants. So yeah, I have that in every room, sorry, so I think about it. I have one in my classroom too, and it's really nice because you refill it with water, and if you're warm you can spray yourself too during the heat waves. It's really handy. Next tool is the cutting part. So I have these tiny cutting ones to cut some stems that are getting yellow or crispy. It's nice to prune your plants because it's a natural phenomenon, the losing some leaves, and it's nice to get rid of them because the plant is not getting exhausted trying to keep this alive, and it will concentrate on the healthy parts. So I do this a lot. I also use this tiny tools, which is called in French a cutter. I don't know what's the English for. It's great because, well, first you have to be really careful with it, but it's great because it helps me doing a really nice and clean cut when I want to do cuttings and propagate my plants. So I really advise to have something pretty sharp. Some people take shaving, for bigger plants, I have scissors, like gardening scissors, and for really big plants, I have those huge ones. Those are called sécateurs in French. I'm not sure what's the English for, But yeah, this helps. For example, if I want to cut a stem from my monstera, I will need that. For my Pachira, I will need that too, because the stem is pretty thick. So yeah, I'll advise this. Another tool that I use pretty often, I explain how to use it in my video how and when to water your plants, which I've talked about actually. It's my moisture meter. This works really nice. I did not pay a ton of money. I bought it on Amazon. It was pretty cheap, and it works really nice because I have huge pots that I'm not always sure if there is still water at the bottom because I can't reach with my hand. So it's really nice to not overwater them. And you can actually measure the light or the pH with this. With the light I've tried, it's pretty accurate. The pH I didn't. But I really recommend that if you have huge pots and you're never really sure when to water it. Another stuff that I recommend is to have like some type of container when you repot your plants inside, because we're talking about indoor gardening right now. So you don't put this everywhere, or you don't tend to do it into your sink, which can clog the sink. So I really recommend having something like this. This is a tiny version, but you should have a bigger version if you have like a huge pot, or you just vacuum after, whatever. It's just to not make a mess all the time, because I have a ton of plants. So if I do this all the time, without it, I'll make a mess all the time. Other tool I use pretty often is gloves, because first of all, when I repot without it, I spend 3 days removing the soil under my nails with a brush. It will protect your jewelry if you haven't removed it, and if you are repotting cacti, it will help protecting your fingers and your hands from the needles or the spine. Not sure what you call it for cacti, but yeah. This will help too. Especially this one is a little bit plasticky on the inside, so I think it's well thought through. I got it really cheap, like at $1, the equivalent of a dollar store in France, but it works, so I'm pretty happy with it. Next accessories that I use in the winter here is a greenhouse. When I want to propagate my plants during the winter, it's better to raise humidity and to keep the warmth, because when you're propagating a plant into water, a cutting, you want to be really warm. So I use this during the winter. I put my pots, my tiny container where I have water and my cuttings are soaking in, and I put them inside and I'll close it. You can open for more aeration or whatever, but this is really handy. If you're like me, you do a lot of propagating plants. The next tool is those plasticky thing that you have also in terracotta, because if you're like me, you have a lot of plants that are into either nursery pots and you haven't put a new hiding pots on top, or your pots has holes. It can help not putting water everywhere on the floor. Next one is that shovel made just for the soil, because I buy huge bags of soil. First, it's cheaper, and also it avoids too much plastic package, so I buy a huge one and I have a place to store it onto the balcony. But every time I put my hand, I'll put a lot will get out. So this is really handy actually. You can take a huge chunk of soil, so it's like quicker when you repot a big plant, and also it doesn't put it everywhere on the floor, which is really nice. Next thing I really do need now is a fertilizer, so plant food. I buy this like those huge containers, and you take a little bit of the caps and you put the rest into a bottle or your watering can, not a ton, and the rest you fill it with water. So I keep this old water bottle from the time where we still had plastic bottle at home, which is not anymore, but I've kept it and I put a tag on it so nobody drinks it because it's not good for you. And this is really, for me, essential, because you need to fertilize your indoor plants, because it doesn't get all of the nutrient that it would get outside in the nature. That I use is a spray bottle one that you can put into the leaves and it will drink it. And when this is done, because the spray is really nice, like this one, I'll put water or use it to do a Castile soap solution to fight insects, for example. Because the spray, I'm not going to do this one, but this one is water, is really nice. This is from Undergreen, it's a French brand, and it's really nice. One thing you might need to, unfortunately, is a insect control spray. How would I say it? Insecticide. This one, for example, is oil-based. It works really well with mealybugs. Seriously, I got rid of the ones that I had in my Dracaena in few applications really nicely. But you can also use some that are made of Castile soap or just soapy solution. This one is a little bit more natural side. And also I do use my, I don't think it's called Castile soap, it's Savon de Marseille. It's a really old soap made in France. Whatever, for the thrips and the dust mites that my monstera got, it got really handy because this was not helpful. So I soaked the leaves and the stems and it did work quite a bit. So I recommend having this one. And last, if you do have animals, you might need a repulsive solution. I talked about this one in my video, Cats and Plants, how to keep them away from your indoor jungle. This one smells citrusy and citronella too, and it really did work. So this thing is almost full because when Knox grew up, I didn't have any problems anymore, but it really does work. So if you have like animals that chew or are pretty curious about your plants, you can spray them around the plants so the area smells not welcoming for them, because I guess they don't like the citrus, and it really does work. Okay guys, that's it for that video. I hope it was not too, I had a lot of stuff to go through, so I want it to be not too long. But if you have any other question and maybe I've missed some stuff, how I use them or why do I use that, please leave it in the comment below. I'll be really happy to answer. And if you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see more videos, you can subscribe to the channel. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye!